No, I lost the hydraulics. Why the am I so unlucky? Am I so unlucky?
This is Paddock 43, the podcast, your weekly rundown giving you all things F1 from both on and off the track.
From races, trades, rumours, the lifestyle, and all the things that come with the F1 world.
We are Amy, Elle, and Pat. Let's get into it.
Welcome back.
That was
We're
exciting.
so excited today because Brazil was exciting.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was exciting.
Oh my
That
god.
was exciting for like 2 minutes.
Oh
No.
wow.
Oh, well, the
I
first 2
thought the
minutes
whole
was
thing was great.
Yeah, I did too.
Hey, I actually liked a sprint race again. Who would have thought?
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Terrifying.
Esty bestie, Fernando Alonso
gosh.
causing some drama.
Yeah, standard.
Oh,
when does
God.
he not cause drama?
But
Let's
before
be
we get
real.
into it,
Yes.
any news, guys?
Any news?
What's happening around the tracks of the F1? Oh,
I feel like the only thing was Mercedes has said farewell to their chief technical officer, Mike Elliott, after an 11-year partnership.
It's a long
and
time.
he did resign.
very
He
long
wasn't
time.
fired. They were
Yeah.
very clear
He
about
left.
that.
He left
was
on his own
just
accord.
Left.
Yeah.
11
Just
years
wanted
is a
some
long time.
apart.
It's a long time in a business.
Yeah. I find it funny as well, though. I'm like, Mercedes was so bad this weekend.
Oh, they were.
I
Well,
wonder.
Lewis was ready to hang up the boots on
Oh my God.
Mercedes after this
Yeah.
weekend.
I'm pretty sure he was willing to like set his own car on fire.
Oh,
I was like, he was mad.
well, George's car nearly set on fire.
Yeah,
That's why they
literally.
retired him
Literally.
because they said his engine couldn't
Was about to
combust any
explode.
second.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot
Like,
about that.
I was listening to that comment and I'm like,
Well,
what?
we really don't need that happening, I don't think.
Can you imagine?
It was not a weekend for Mercedes.
At all.
It was not a weekend for a lot of them.
No.
It
I will
was
say
not a
that.
weekend for Brazil. Wait, that doesn't sound right.
No, well, it was a weekend for Brazil.
It was a weekend for Brazil, but the Brazilian weather said no.
Well,
No,
Sao
well-
Paulo is always very rainy
Yeah.
Well,
and
what-
has microclimates, and then they say that Interlagos in itself has a microclimate. And
That's pretty insane.
Well,
Yeah.
we saw that with the grandstand.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
the roof flying off.
It flew
Someone
off
almost
and
died.
It just, like collapsed.
That could just slice you in half.
yeah,
Yeah, well, there was a photographer who shoots on the tracks. I forget his name, but he said that the debris hit him as he was taking photos.
Or didn't he? Was there someone
my
else that were
God.
like, I almost got killed by flying debris?
Yeah, it was just everywhere. So there was that drama, and then also
like
a
a
lot
mini
of
cyclone.
fans had a clash with security after the Grand Prix as well.
Oh,
Did
really?
they?
Yeah, there was a big what did they do? They fans all go out on the track like they
Oh, so
usually
after
do
the race,
Yeah.
yeah.
after the race.
Mhm.
And yeah, there was just a. That's me punching
Oh, I didn't
someone
see
else
that.
if you can't
You're
see
doing
this
like
footage.
the Hulk smash.
Hulk smash between fans and security. Yeah, so
Oh,
Why?
invasion on the track is what they called it.
yeah.
I don't know.
Why did they do that?
I think it may. I don't know if it was something like what happened at Melbourne when they slipped.
that was
Someone,
bad.
all the fans slipped through
was bad.
the track. It seems it's that way. But yeah, they just went for it and not good. It was quite a brutal little fight that
It's
was
like
happening.
fans just trying to get the most out of their
Literally.
weekend.
Well, they're scaling the fence and then they're jumping over it. Do you remember that footage?
Parkour.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, so
really?
there was so
Oh my
much parkour this weekend. Did you guys see?
No, I didn't see the
Every
parkour.
all like the intro, like they would do. It was some really cool stuff, like the intro hype for Brazil at like the beginning of all the broadcasts. They were like all these parkour people doing parkour.
I didn't.
I
see
did
that.
not see that.
it was really.
I
cool.
did
my
see
gosh.
Lance having a little bit of a smirk at the national anthem, though.
I did because I
Ah.
think the microphone dropped out.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because
I
you
thought
could
that
only
too.
hear,
I
you
was
could only
like,
hear
what
the
happened
guitar,
there?
but
Yeah.
you couldn't hear her singing.
It
Yeah.
sounded like she got nervous and stopped
Yeah,
singing.
no, I
That's
thought
what it did.
that.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
So is that not the anthem? I'm not familiar with the Brazil national anthem.
It is the anthem, but I think it just the microphone
out.
stopped working. Because then afterwards,
Oh.
you could hear when the microphones they like clicked them into gear and then they were like super loud.
It'd be really awkward for them.
Is
like,
that what happened?
you're just
awkward,
you're just
yeah.
trying to
And the
sing
little
the
boy
national
just like
anthem.
Yeah, he was just standing
Yeah.
there playing his
playing
little,
his little
ukulele,
ukulele.
guitar, whatever it was. There was some funny moments. Moments like that, and two of them that stick out in my mind. Martin Brundle Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh my God,
Oh my
yes.
god. Oh.
So
my
He
But
then
anyway-
walked out. Machine Gun Kelly walked
Yeah,
out halfway
walked
through the
out
Grand
halfway
Prix.
through the
I
Grand
was like,
Prix.
you rude.
He was
motherfucker.
So for those playing along at
rude.
home and that didn't see this footage, Martin Brundle goes up to Machine Gun Kelly. He's like, we've got to chat. MGK, whatever you want to call him, doesn't know really who Martin is.
He
And
obviously
can't
knows
even-
nothing about Formula
Yeah,
One.
I
don't
can't even hear
know-
Martin. And then he asked Martin, do you like my industry, which is obviously music and entertainment? And
I'm sorry, but
Martin's
it's just
like,
so
yes,
narcissistic.
of
So
course I do.
shut up. Like, it's not about you. It's about the Grand Prix and the
Yeah.
drivers and
And
the
then
sport.
He asked, he was like, let's do air, you play the piano and I'll do air guitar.
But he was so rude.
And
like,
Martin's like, I was waiting for Martin to do it. I was like, you could. And he's like, no, there's millions watching. And then Machine Gun's like doing like most awkward, like,
you could tell as well at that. You could tell at that point as well. Martin was like, I'm getting nothing out of this interview. I need to go and do my job. Because he
Yeah.
was like, he spoke to him and then Machine Gun Kelly was like silent for about 3 seconds. And
he was trying to process.
I didn't hear you. He was so rude. I've literally got on my notes. Machine Gun Kelly is a twat. So rude.
A twat.
I was terrified
is
for Martin
it.
Brundle. I felt like he was about to punch him or something. I was
Yeah.
like, get away
I
from him,
would've.
Martin. Get away. Like, oh.
Speaking of twats, did you see Martin's interview just after that with Bernie Ecclestone?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
see
my
I
God.
did. And then they were like trying to, he's done a lot of bad things, but we have to accept
Yes,
that he's done lots of good for the
Martin
sport
was like
too.
trying to cover and being like, we wouldn't be here without him, but he's done some things and he's in trouble at the moment, blah, blah, blah. But he asked Bernie, he goes, you're a bit of a naughty boy at the moment or something like that.
Oh, I think
And he's like,
saw,
aren't you
the
helping
end of
pay
this.
someone on the borders or something? And Bernie's like,
Oh my gosh.
what?
It's like, sorry?
Oh, yeah, he was like, he's done some things. There's some things that have happened, but we have to appreciate
There are
what he's done.
some things he
There's some
said.
things.
He's
Is it-
controversial.
Yeah. Oh, that was awkward.
It
I
was
love an awkward
funny to-
interview.
It was funny to listen to. Well,
very funny.
Martin was copying the awkward
He
interviews left, right,
always
and
cops
centre.
them.
Always cops
Always.
them.
I just feel like if you're if you're doing the grid walk, you've just got to be open to it. You have to
Yeah.
be open to Martin Brundle.
Well, it was
Otherwise,
so
leave.
much better though than
I'll go.
last week's grid walk with who was it? They had Danica Patrick
two
doing
girls.
the grid walk, and that was
I actually didn't even see that.
Oh.
Did they have
Danica and that
Danica doing
other-
it?
yeah. What's
Oh,
her
and
name? I always forget her name.
Not Natalie.
no, Bernie.
Yes, it was
Bernie-
with Bernie. Yes.
Bernie, what's her
Bernie
name? What's her
Collins.
surname? Bernie Collins.
Yes. So it was with Bernie
Yes.
and Danica, and it was just not the vibe that Martin brings, which is just chaotic energy.
Yeah, I think they did a good job if you're looking at a
Why was Martin not
interviewing.
there?
I don't know on an interviewing
Week off.
scale, but if you're comparing it to Martin, it's just like classic Martin
Yeah.
grid walk. It's
It'll be so
Especially
hard
when
when
they're
he
filming
leaves.
him.
Like,
when they-
who's going to take over?
Oh my
who's going to take over him?
I'll do it. I'll
Yeah.
petition for that.
yeah,
Three
three of us can do
You're
it.
too big.
But that's
Exactly.
exactly over every
I'm-
people.
Yeah, I'm so tall. I'll be like, oh, I can see them over there. We're going right,
Right over
there.
there.
Like
Yeah.
that's exactly
True,
where
that's
we're
very true.
going.
And put you in heels as well.
That was me.
Plug.
Always just
R.I.P.
hiding in the corner. No, but it was interesting watching the race this weekend though, when we all had so much on. So
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. I barely watched
Yeah.
anything besides the actual race.
Yeah, well, for rest of world, it's a long weekend here in Melbourne. We have the Melbourne Cup, the Spring Racing
Racing.
Carnival, which we were all in attendance of. So keeping up with the
We had a
sprint
lovely
whilst
time all together.
racing.
If you saw that on Instagram,
Yes, we did chuck it up there.
yeah, we did.
We did
Put it up. Hopefully you saw it. It'd be sad if you didn't.
If you haven't seen it, that means you need to go follow our Instagram page,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Absolutely.
is something fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, when I was doing my makeup and getting ready, I had the quali on in the background. And, we always talk about how we get the Sky News broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, being so dramatic, do you know, this weekend it's 1 year since we've heard the British national anthem.
Oh, I did.
And I can't remember who. Someone was like,
yeah.
what do you mean? They were like, well, the last time someone won was George Russell in Brazil, and it's been a whole year since we've heard the British anthem.
Oh,
Speaking of that, how
such a
cocky was
shame.
Brazil when they were doing sound checks before the weekend started? We're doing it with the
Savage.
Dutch anthem.
I mean, I feel like it's one of those things like, you were thinking it, I know, but you said it.
Yeah.
Like all the other tracks,
Yeah.
like, smart, we should do
We
that.
like
Yeah, that's what to do that as the sound check was just
Yeah.
Cold.
So everyone would have heard it about
Cold.
8 times, maybe?
Yeah.
Jesus.
well, speaking from experience, like working at a Grand Prix when you are doing sound checks the night before or the day before,
Yeah, what
you do play it non-stop. But when we did it, when I was worked at the Australian Grand Prix call, we actually played random music.
Yeah, makes more sense.
Which made more sense rather than doing an anthem. Like if you were going to do an anthem, you would probably do your own national anthem.
Well,
like, I think we did the Australian anthem at one point, but like, Daniel Ricciardo was out on turn 1 and that year anyway, so it was fine.
Classic. Also, like if maybe they should have sound checked their own national anthem because it didn't work.
Yeah.
When they sung it.
That didn't work at all. The microphone said hard no.
I mean, they don't even have a Brazilian in the driver lineup. Lance was like, we need to work harder to get a Brazilian in the driver. I was like, you don't need to work harder to get a Brazilian in the lineup.
Like, you don't need to be saying this.
I was like, what? I was like, that's up to someone else to work hard.
Like that is so out of your control.
Yeah. It was just such a weird, I get what he's saying. He's like, oh, I wish we had someone from Brazil to represent the country, blah, blah, blah. I get what he's saying. But it was just such a weird way to say it.
Well,
being like, we need to work harder. It's like saying we need to work harder to get females here. Like,
Fight for the females.
Do anything.
Do you feel, I feel like, is he trying to have like a slight dig at Lewis Hamilton? Because Lewis Hamilton's like a honorary citizen.
Maybe. Possibly.
Maybe.
That could be
does Lance have any friends on the track?
I don't think so. Actually, do you know?
I always see him walking by himself.
I saw this TikTok, literally he is always by himself. And he obviously does that to himself. But I saw this TikTok of this girl who was like, I assume she worked at the hotel that they're all staying at, or she was just a guest that sat there for a very long time and would film the drivers walking in.
I would sit there the whole time.
Probably stalking them. Yep.
Yeah. And I actually went back and paused it because I saw Lance was walking with Mick Schumacher. I was like, who is he with? Because I literally thought the same thing. He doesn't have friends. He was with Mick Schumacher. They had golf clubs. And there was someone else. I didn't know who it was.
So he must have friends.
With Mick. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But yeah.
Good on.
Speaking of Brazilians, it was nice seeing Baricello at the track.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He was interviewed. That was nice.
Did Martin interview him?
I think so,
Yeah.
yes.
Another
Yes, he
chaotic
did.
interview.
Another chaotic interview.
Felipe Massa was there as well. People were going nuts that he was out on the track, being like, how dare he show up at the Brazil Grand Prix?
Yeah.
It's quite controversial when he pops up at the track now. And Martin was not too keen on him as well. Martin was saying, he's like, you've had an interesting time in Brazil, but even more interesting time the last couple of months. It's like, Martin, wow.
I love his shade.
He really loves poking the bear. He's like,
dive in.
Yeah.
he's like, let me.
Yeah. That's
Like
why
a
he's
child
irreplaceable.
that sits and looks at the people coming. And he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, what can I do?
But also, I kind of feel like he has no idea. He's just like, I'm just
He's
doing
like,
it.
oh, well, if I piss this person off, then that's just how it happens.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But what were our thoughts on, let's park race for a second, sprint shootout, sprint quali. I mean, I just call it sprint quali.
Yeah, I call it sprint quali. Oh, wait, qualifying or sprint quali for?
Sprint quali.
Sprint quali. The sprint as a whole. It was the last sprint of
the calendar.
La season.
The calendar.
The
But
calendar.
Yeah, Sebastian into the barriers.
Sebastian into the barriers. Goodbye, Fernando Alonso. That was sort of
Fernando's front left tire. I was like, oh, damn. Poor Fernando.
He redeemed himself, though.
Yeah, but I don't feel like there was very much happening in that qualifying session.
Yeah.
Not too much really happened.
I was laughing actually before, at some point, I can't remember when they were interviewing a bunch of the drivers and they were talking about Daniel Ricciardo was there, Lando was there, Verstappen was there, I think Charles was there, and then maybe two other people. And they were talking about sprint weekend and what their thoughts are.
Oh, wait, I
around-
saw that where they had everyone's different
opinions,
I saw that,
and everyone's opinions were like,
it was so mixed.
oh, but I thought as well they were all pretty valid.
Yeah,
But they were kind of
Lando
mixed.
said he hated it.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Lando was like he hated it, and then it was all kind of like a bit negative, but keep them, but let's not complicate it even more. And then Verstappen's like, I love it, and then it was just silent.
Silence.
Of
Yeah,
course,
it
you
was
love
so
it when you're
bored.
winning by 30 seconds all the time.
And everyone looked at him and they're thinking is he being sarcastic? He's like, I love it. I love a sprint weekend.
Lewis was the only one that was gunning for it. He said that he liked it, and he said that his best sprint race was when he started last. So he's also in
true, he did
favour of
say
the
that.
inverted grid, which
Yeah,
I think would be a really interesting
Because
concept.
he said it was the most fun he's had in a sprint because he
Yeah.
started from the back.
Yeah.
But then he said everyone would be trying to be slow
That's
in
why.
the sprint
That's why I
shootout,
said they
and
should.
it wouldn't work. So he's like, doesn't work. So it should just be like a random.
That's what I said
They
last
decided.
week. I was
Oh,
like,
is that what you said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
it
I said
is
last
too,
week.
yeah.
That they just like switch it every couple of weeks.
Yeah, and they don't
Just
tell
be
them.
like, okay, we're gonna do reverse. We're gonna do like maybe top 5, bottom 5, put them up the top, and just like
I'm
I
too
don't know.
confused.
yeah, just make it confusing for
Yeah.
them so they don't know. So you can't purposely go slow.
Charles is not for it.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it. But he also said that he hates having 3 practice sessions.
Yeah.
They're pretty boring.
He says it
Like,
just
it'd be
takes up
boring
too
for
much
them.
time of his weekend. He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, he said they can get boring.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
but they don't
it can
need to
get
do the whole
boring for
practice session. They
us.
can literally just go out and do a lap.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, so I think it's more boring.
I think
for
as well
us.
it depends on like where the car is at. Like if a team is feeling really strong and positive about where their car is sitting at the beginning of a race weekend, then 3 practice sessions are not really necessary. But
yeah. I feel like they should just do 2.
yeah.
I don't know if 3 is just overkill.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 is good if your car's a piece of
Yeah.
shit.
and
You're
one's
trying
not
to
enough.
figure it out. Yeah, and one's not enough, clearly.
So
with
maybe
the
2 is
sprint.
the magic number.
Yeah, maybe they just do that.
They always say third time's the charm, though.
That's
Yeah,
true.
nah.
No.
Nah.
Anyway, back to the sprint.
Back to the sprint.
Well, obviously the shootout was, the shootout quali shootout, SQ1, SQ2, SQ3, whatever you want to call them, was not very interesting. But the sprint itself wasn't too bad.
Well, I mean,
I
Norris
guess.
got front row.
That was exciting. Pole.
What do you call
Pole.
it? What do they call it?
Sprint pole?
Oh, I thought they called it something different.
No, they probably do.
Oh, what planet am I on?
I don't know.
Someone-
I don't know where my
Yeah.
brain is either.
Before the sprint,
Yeah.
someone was interviewing Lando, and they were like, how much pressure is there for you to get pole position for how much pressure is it to get a McLaren pole position in the sprint? And
That's
he goes,
what I posted
well,
on my TikTok.
he was like, he goes,
He's just like,
well, Oscar's
Oscar
had
won.
it.
She's like, yeah, I know, but for you. And I was
Yeah.
like, you saved that. I
She
was
saved
like,
that
you-
so well.
Your mind just went blank. I was
Lando's
like, good
face
job.
was just like, is this bitch
I was
real?
like, why is she interviewing me?
Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, Max had Lando on turn 1, so it was over Red Rover.
It was over. I think this
Unfortunately.
is one of the first sprint weekends we've had in a while where the sprint race stats kind of align to the race stats.
Was it?
What do you mean in?
As in like how they
The
went in
top
the
three.
sprint kind of went to.
Oh, sorry, as in like the winners of the sprint race are similar. The
Oh, so it was
sprint
all
race
set
stat.
out.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but similar.
You're like, not quite.
Not quite.
Almost.
Almost. Yes, we saw Max Verstappen win. Lando Norris came second. Pettis came third. George Russell came fourth. Charles Leclerc came fifth. And go Yuki, he came sixth.
Yeah. He actually did well.
Yeah, he did well this weekend. Me last week being like, I think he's going to DNF.
I feel like all our predictions were so off again.
They were so
I can't remember
off.
what I did.
I said that Lando
this
was
is
going to
for
win
this-
and Max was... Oh, well, not for the sprint. We didn't
is for the
define if it was
race.
going to be the sprint or the race.
Yeah.
But I did say for the actual race that Logan Sargent was a DNF.
I don't know. I feel like it was an exciting race, but in terms of there was just a lot of overtaking. It was like backwards and forwards.
Wait,
just-
are
it
we
was
talking about race or are we talking about
sprint?
Sprint.
The sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The sprint. There was just a lot of overtaking, but then I'm like, I can't tell you how many overtakes there were because there was a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of battles. So, yeah.
I just think Interlagos is such a good track.
I feel like they need to make all tracks like that track.
Yeah, it's a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's the only, I think, anti-clockwise
Oh, yeah.
track as well. So when they started, I was like, this hurts my brain.
Oh, my God.
I don't like
I
this.
didn't
Yeah,
even
it's
think of that. Yes.
anti-clockwise.
Oh, that makes so
I
much
wonder if
sense.
that would throw
Yes.
them off. Do you think that would throw them off? Because I know when I like train and when we do 400s, when you go the other way, it feels weird.
Mm.
It's all a bit like topsy-turvy.
Yeah, even I'm feeling strange.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't obviously, I think everyone was pretty happy to hang up the boots for
The sprint
the sprint.
boots.
I think we're just... It gets exhausting. I mean,
It's
trying
just
to
a very long weekend.
and trying to keep up with everything as well of what's happening, and you do just want to focus on the race, especially when we only have a couple more left of the season. You kind of just want the sprint to get out of the way because it takes up the excitement, and it's hard here in Melbourne.
Yeah, and I don't like
It
how they
is.
had so many at the end of the season. Like, why can't they be more spaced out?
Yeah.
Like 2 in a row. Was it 2 in a row?
We had like a gap for a while that we didn't have many.
True. I don't know. I just
And
think
then
they
we
could
had a
space it
few.
out a bit
Yeah.
more. But
Well,
Have
my
fun if you're
opinion.
listening. Space them out.
and make it its own championship.
but it's over and out now until next year, so that's okay.
See, my brain just, I get so confused. And I'm like, what happened in what part of what?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm going to bed.
That was watching. Yeah.
Bye.
Like
Bye,
right now, I'm
Felicia.
like, this hurts.
Bye, Felicia. Well,
Chloe.
then maybe we should say goodbye to the sprint and
Adios.
and ciao,
Adios.
sayonara.
Catch ya.
Adios.
Adios,
Bye.
because let's just dive straight into the race because,
Qualifying.
Wait, is it?
yeah, sorry, yeah, race. But no, the race includes qualifying as well, technically, because you have to qualify to get into the
Yeah.
race.
Adeus
Yeah.
in Portuguese.
Sure.
It's adeus.
Adios.
Adeus.
Adios.
Adeus.
Adios.
Adios.
Adeus.
Adios.
Adios.
Yeah. Adeus.
Adios.
Yeah.
So it's not adios.
Adeus. Portuguese.
Adios.
Yeah.
Sounds
Adios.
the same in my head.
Adios.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Quali. How we feel about the quali.
Oscar Piastri had never driven in Brazil on anything.
Except for a sim.
I don't think even a sim.
Oh,
Surely he'd
a
done a
sim.
sim.
Maybe a sim.
Yeah.
Surely,
one
I
or
feel
two.
like he
Just
would have
not
had
the
to.
real-
But like in like F2, F3, nothing.
Oh,
He's never driven on it before. So that was fun.
nice. Well, he
Yeah, see, my thing as well, Mercedes had good pace in qualifying. Because George Russell was the fastest in Q1 with a time of 1:10.
Mm.
Then what the frick happened in the race? Anyway,
What the frick happened in the race to a lot of
Yeah.
them? I think they all
Anyway.
just went kaput. But I mean, even the weather was throwing all sorts in its own. What do you call it before? An ecosystem.
well, to me, it looked like the Dementors were coming.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, it's Doomsday, the Dementors. What's happening? It's so funny because as they had like,
microclimate.
as they were following some of the cars, it was like
Yeah.
sunny. Followed it around, it was like black.
It was
Yeah.
just
I was
black
like,
on the other
oh
side.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was nuts.
But also in Q1, Verstappen and Perez were 1 millisecond apart. So I feel like Perez did really well this weekend.
Oh.
I think that
Yeah,
he
he did
actually
do
had
well.
like good pace.
I was
compared
really
to Max.
impressed with Checo. Obviously, he wanted to come back after what happened in last week as well. I think that was probably
Had some
very
redeeming to do.
self-humiliating for how you'd feel
Yeah.
in such your home race. But I know we are talking about quali, but I just need to take a moment.
We should do
For-
this in the race bit.
Yeah.
Sorry, Elle, I'm cutting you off. We're saving it.
Yeah.
Shh, get excited later.
All
Yeah.
right, you have to move forward if you want to hear about the battle.
Yeah. Go to, I'll put it in the show notes where to go to. But then it's all, yeah, top 17 was separated by half a second. Wild.
Wild. Yeah, Paris
is
did
very
do very well
fast.
this weekend, I must say.
Yeah. I feel like that was all in Q1.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
really
oh,
have
yeah,
much.
Yuki, Daniel, Valtteri,
Bottas.
Logan, and Joe. All
Standard.
gone.
Although I was
Yeah, so
expecting more from
disappointing for
Danny.
Daniel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
his race.
After doing so well last weekend.
Yeah.
I know, but then I was thinking, I was like, last week I was like, is this just a fluke? As much as I love Danny.
know.
Yeah.
And then
I did
after
think that
this, I'm
too.
like, what is happening? I need to see him perform in Vegas to make my mind up, because also that's a fresh track for everyone.
Also because
Yeah.
we know how excited he is for Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Is he going to crumble under pressure?
It's kind of like what we were saying, was it last week, that we get really excited once they do one good race. You're like, oh my God, they're back. And then it's like, they're not.
Yeah.
The next race, they just crumble and fall into a
Yeah.
hole.
Well-
And cry.
Q1, just no good.
No good. What about Q2? What were some of your highlights?
I don't
I
have
mean,
any.
I'd just say Lando.
Lando being
Fastest
faster
time,
than Max?
1:10. Yeah.
That's
I
pretty
feel like,
impressive.
Lando's the only one
Yeah.
that's really giving Max a good run at the moment.
If Max wasn't around, Lando would be
Oh.
probably world champion.
Yeah.
Mm.
I wonder, I actually
Yeah, I
do
agree with
wonder.
Even though he's
Lando,
not coming second on the constructors, but you know.
Yeah. But Lando in a Red Bull.
Let's
Lando
see
in a
it.
Red Bull would be
Lando in
Imagine.
Checo's seat.
But I also do love seeing Lando in the orange.
Oh no, he can
Yeah.
never leave McLaren ever.
No.
But
He's not
just
allowed.
for
It's his
our
colour.
own entertainment, just jump in the Red Bull and see what happens.
Mm.
I reckon they should do that. They should do a novelty race where they all get in each other's cars. See what happens.
Can you imagine all trying to fit into each other's seats?
I spat.
Can you imagine?
Like Carlos in Yuki's seat.
Yeah, that's what I was
trying to. Oh no, George and Yuki.
Yeah.
That's what I was
George
trying
is
to
like,
Oh my god, it's so funny.
he's such long limbs.
Because how tall is George? He's 6 foot, isn't he? I think
Surely
George is like 6
not.
foot.
Hang on, I'm
No.
looking this up right now. Height of George Russell. What is it? What is Google going to tell me? Oh, wow.
Is that right?
He's 185. I am 185.
Who
So,
do, wait,
hang on.
who's the tallest F1 driver on the grid?
It has to be George.
No, it's not George. It's someone else.
Who the hell's taller than George?
Is it Kevin Magnussen?
It's Esteban.
Ah, how tall
totally
is
forgot
Esty
about
Besty?
him.
1.86. He's a
Oh.
centimetre taller than George
Oh,
Russell.
okay.
Oh.
And
But
Nico
it's-
Hulkenberg is 1.84.
Wait, so
It's funny how they say they have to be short, but they're
yeah.
taller
Yeah.
than
I was
us.
always told, like, not that I tried to be an F1
They're like
driver.
jockeys.
Actually,
But-
Esteban, sorry. It's,
I was told that it was height discrimination. I could never be an F1 driver or a jockey or a pilot
Yeah.
or a gymnast.
or a gymnast. But I had no.
Oh my
yeah.
God, I can never picture you being a gymnast.
I can't
Like-
even sit.
I know.
Can't even stand
I'd
without getting a head
pay.
spin.
I would pay to watch that.
Oh my god.
Joint first is actually Esteban and Alex Albon. So they're both 186.
Oh yeah, Alex is tall
There's
too.
some tall men on the track.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is too. Because when I
Yeah.
remember thinking that actually in my champagne phased brain when I interviewed Alex, asked him if he was wearing socks. That was my interview.
Bless.
Elle's interview. What socks are you wearing?
Are you wearing socks today?
Him. I
That's a
thought you were going to
question.
ask me something different. No, this is what I'm asking you.
He's like, okay. Oh,
He's like, yes, I do
Like,
wear
oh,
socks.
yes. Oh god, funny.
Hey, entertainment for myself. You got to keep
Yeah.
yourself entertained somehow in
Sure
between
do.
breaks.
You do.
Wow, there you go. Fun fact about all those heights. I actually had no idea, and I thought that I was being discriminated, that I would never be able to be in that position. But
You now
There
can.
you go.
now
Off
I
you go.
can. So
Tomorrow she signs up to like.
yeah.
The driver
Go-karting.
academy. Yeah. You see her in the
She's at
go-kart like
sidetracked.
this.
yeah.
Oh god, don't get my shoe in.
Pat and Amy are like, have you seen Elle? We've got to record
Yeah.
a podcast.
It's
Sorry,
just
guys.
She comes into the studio with like skid marks on
Yeah.
her face.
What happened? I crashed. How did you crash?
Just pushing the
Yeah.
cart out. I tripped
didn't even
over
drive.
it.
Trying to
I
put
didn't
my
even
helmet
drive.
on.
Yeah.
Tripped over.
Put my helmet on, just been think.
Tripped over a wheel.
Oh gosh.
Well, what else happened in the rest of good old quali? Anything else besides, Q2, us seeing Nico, Hesty Bestie,
Well,
Gasly?
Alex
and
Albon would have
Mags
gone
out.
into Q1, except
Mm.
his lap time deleted. I feel like, is that the second time that's happened?
It's not definitely
him?
not the first.
Mm.
It,
But recently, like in the last few races, I feel like it's it
possibly. I
happened.
feel like it's
Yeah, I
actually been
think so.
happening a
I
fair
think it
bit to a
did.
few of them, but
Yeah.
He hasn't been the luckiest.
Mm.
No, there's not been many,
not many
many
lucky.
lucky drivers on the grid unless you're
No.
Max at the moment or Lando.
Yeah.
Everyone else seems to be fighting the good fight,
Yeah.
but then
They're really sorry to interrupt, but they're really just running and trying to get to the last little sprint. They're hanging on by
yeah.
dear life.
You feel that in their energy in their interviews as well at the moment, that they just seem done. But also maybe
It
it's
gets
because
like
they're having a
that.
triple header.
Yeah.
Maybe that
Oh,
break is more needed.
It kind of gets like that when you
Yeah.
compare. Like when I was competing, you get to the end of the season, you're like, it's so close. But so-
Yeah.
and you just want it to be done.
You just want
Especially if it's
like
a bad
break.
season. Like when it's a shit season, like half of these guys, they're like just
Oh, well, Charles,
Make it
get me
stop.
out. Yeah.
Charles said this is the season he wants to forget.
Yeah.
Mm.
He said he never wants to relive this season again. Well,
Drama.
oh,
They're
so
very
much
dramatic.
drama.
I feel like
dramatic.
they're very dramatic at the moment.
Very dramatic.
Like there's worse things going on in the world.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Speaking of dramatic, Ted Gravis was making fun of Ferrari with stone chips on their car.
What was
It was
it?
just like there was just like some stone chips on the front of the Charles and Carlos's cars, and he was making fun of them. And he was like, "Well, they clearly are driving off the track in the wrong ways." He's like, "Look at these stone chips." And it's just this whole thing on like the stone chips on the car.
He always does that.
I'm
He
like,
always,
you're
gets-
picking on Ferrari for like a scratch.
Yeah, like, leave them alone.
especially because
They're
they
going
did,
through
like,
a hard time.
yeah.
That's what I thought. I was like, this is literally like,
Just let them be.
this happens to everyone's car. You probably
Yeah.
have stone chips on your car
Yeah,
from
exactly.
driving down somewhere.
Especially because they did like a deep dive into, or they did kind of a deep dive into Ferrari this week, and they spent some time with them. And be kinder,
Just be nice. It's
Be
not that
nice.
hard to be nice.
be kinder.
It's very easy to be nice.
You've just had all this time with them in the garages and behind the scenes, and Carlos making coffee. Speaking
I
of,
wonder if
sorry,
it makes a good coffee.
I wonder. Did you guys see as well
Mexican
how they
coffee
kept
or Brazilian coffee?
Ooh, Brazilian
Greek
coffee,
coffee.
good Greek coffee.
Plot twist.
All the fruit. Did you see how they kept
No.
talking? They kept going on about there were these fresh fruit stands, and there was all these like tropical fruits, and there was all this like food in the paddock. I think I would want to go there. If I-
Just for the
for the fruit.
Oh, that would
It
be
was-
so
yeah.
yummy.
And they
It
were
would
like
be
going
so
through all the
good.
regions where the fruits came from. Like, I want some papaya, some real Brazilian papaya.
Yum.
I can't eat fruit, so
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'll skip on out that one with you.
Well, I think they
But-
had like other
Pat and I
snacks
will
as
go.
well, like pan de queijo,
Pat and I will, like, eat all the
cheese
fruit.
bread.
cheese bread.
Mm.
Yum.
Anyway, Q1.
Q1.
Rain at 10:12. Black doomsday
Oh
cloud.
my god! Could you imagine if you were a
Incoming.
spectator in that stand with the roof flying off?
Just watching, everyone. Not everyone. I was going to say all the Dementors coming in. That's how you put it.
Yep.
Dark clouds. I mean, Oscar, he just tucked on in there. Number 10. Not a bad effort. I was expecting a little bit more. But my shock horror of Q1 was, and I messaged Amy because she's got a bit of a love affair for Lance Stroll sometimes. And I was like, wait, what?
I like the
Is
anti.
Lance Stroll? Did he
Oh my
really come
God.
third in qualifying?
Yeah.
What happened
I
there?
was flabbergasted.
What happened
But
there?
like my thing was like it kind of goes into that. They were sitting in the garages for like half the qualifying session. And I was like, you guys can see like the world's about to end and you're still sitting there. I was like, why didn't anyone send their car out early? Then all of a sudden Max went out, then everyone went out. And then I was like, then you guys are going to complain about there being traffic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe send your cars out at the beginning of the session, get the lap done, and then
The strategy was to probably see Max go out and what he does and the time that he's going to get.
And then
but that would just be that I just find
Yeah,
that
I think they just
so
want to get it
dumb.
close. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
dumb. But then also Max probably wanted to see what everyone else was doing on the track.
Mm.
I
Even though
mean,
they've already seen it, they've just done it, the
with
other.
the cloud coming in, I feel like there should have just.
Should've just
I'm
gone on
becoming a
out.
strategist. Yeah.
Replacing
Amy's
Bernie
like,
over
go,
here.
go, 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 go.
Be able to understand you over
Calling
Bernie
people
though,
like,
so
hello?
I'm actually
Yeah.
awful.
Oh God.
Bernie, I love
Trying to
you.
listen to
Very
Bernie
intelligent,
sometimes.
but I'm Australian. I can barely understand my own accent.
Yeah.
Howdy,
Accent's
howdy.
thick enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm broken enough to like. I just can't. Yours is too posh and fancy for me. Doesn't process in my brain.
Yeah. You're like,
I'm like, KO Sports, please turn on the
You're like, yeah.
subtitles.
I was about to say, like,
I
you
was
need
I need
subtitles.
subtitles. And they don't have subtitles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
well,
subtitles would be
that
able to-
annoys me. They don't have subtitles.
I
I'd
think
love
it does if you
subtitles.
watch
So do I.
back, like, but definitely not
Does it?
live. Yeah,
Oh.
I think it does. I don't know. I've actually never tried. Usually when I can't understand, I just sort of try and lip read and then
I've never
can't
been
lip
able
read.
to put subtitles, but KO, if you're listening, we want subtitles.
Subtitles, please.
We're in Australia.
Closed
We can't
captions.
understand.
Please, please,
Hey,
please,
I will
please.
say the broadcast actually were like talking about us this week in Australia, not us.
They did talk
I was
about
like-
I was
Australia.
looking at like, really? They're
I was
talking
like,
about us?
they know us?
No,
They spoke
They-
about us.
yeah, they were saying
They
they're
did.
like, well, all our Aussie fans over in Sydney and
Oh,
Melbourne,
yeah.
they were up at 4 a.m. this morning. I was like, oh my god, have they been listening to us all complain, being like, stop complaining?
Yeah.
about you guys
Yeah.
getting up early.
They're
Stop
like
talking
this all
about
the
yourselves.
time.
That's what it sounded
Buttholes.
like in my head because we've spoken about it so many times. That they're just
Literally.
British commentators. That
I know. I
came
did
to
feel
their own
like
country.
They
have-
just forget about the rest
listened
of the
to us.
world.
I felt heard.
Yeah.
Finally.
I felt heard. I mean,
Us little Aussies.
it was in response to Daniel and Lando during the race.
I
and
thought
their
it was
Aussie
in response
fans.
to Oscar.
Who did I say? Did I say Daniel and Lando?
Yeah.
I meant Daniel and
Daniel,
Oscar.
oh my
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
that didn't even go through my mind. I was like,
That when I said Lando,
You had
processed
papaya
in
on your
Australia.
mind.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
papaya?
wasn't responsive about them during the race and their fan base. But I was like, their fan base is wider than just Australia.
Yeah.
Cast
for
your net.
sure.
Come on.
So
Phew.
much.
Especially for Daniel. I actually reckon that Oscar would have a huge
Also, he didn't even
European
mention
fan base.
Perth. Didn't even mention Western
No.
Australia.
Yeah,
where
they totally
Danny's
forgot
from.
about the East Coast.
Did.
You know, they tried. They said Australia. But did
Never eat soggy
They said
Weet-Bix.
Australia, but they specified Melbourne and Sydney.
Yeah, but
No, they
just-
forgot about Queensland, Adelaide, and everywhere.
Oh, yeah, and they
Right.
forgot about
they were like
capital
only
of
Melbourne
the
and
country.
Sydney are in Australia,
Yeah,
nowhere else.
That's it. Canberra.
Well, to the
Hobart.
rest of the world, that is all
That
that's
is
in
it,
Australia.
yeah.
I love asking.
Fun fact for everyone that doesn't know, but Canberra is actually the capital.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
always
love.
forget. I forget about that.
I love asking people, like international people, what's the capital of Australia?
They're like Sydney.
Sydney.
No,
No, it's just
Canberra.
the most marketable city.
Canberra.
But that's
Yeah.
kind of the same. Like the capital of Brazil is Brasilia, and there's fuck all there. So
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
fun fact.
did not know that.
It's literally just it's the same as Canberra. It's just like
Yeah,
government jobs.
and that's all it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're
government
just
and
running
like
the country.
unis.
Yeah.
Running the country from there.
Yeah.
I honestly think Checo would have been on the front row.
Really?
Yeah, I think he could have been on the front row,
For quali or for rate?
like for the race.
Really?
the
I,
race.
I feel like he could have, if the session wasn't red flagged.
Oh.
I feel like he could have been on the front row.
Hmm.
Personally, in my opinion, I just thought he had good pace.
So if the Dementors
Well,
weren't there.
Yeah, the Dementors, the Brazilian Dementors.
Well, he
Dementors.
started ninth, so
Yeah,
he
Yeah.
tried his hardest. And then we had the three Brits fighting for their part, 5, 6, and 7.
But yeah, just Lance third.
Lance third, just absolutely
Oh, it's strange.
Mm.
Also, just the
blew
fact
my
like
mind.
Aston Martin have had such a questionable second half of the season, and then seeing them both,
Yeah, Fernando back up there.
yeah, third and fourth,
Mm.
and then
pretty
Aston Martin
good.
had a good car this weekend.
Yeah, that a great car.
Yeah, well, we definitely saw that perform out in the race. But
yeah.
I just can someone explain to me what happened with Lance? Because I just am still shocked by that.
With
I feel like he was just very lucky,
Lucky.
and just managed to get a faster time in on his first lap, and no one else really had a chance after that because it got red flagged.
Well, yeah, Lance, he finished 5th. So honestly,
He did pretty well.
not a bad effort from him at all. Okay, I'm allowed to talk about the race now.
So is everyone just going to collectively cry right now?
I'm sorry, but
Any 16
Charles.
fans?
like it was a
Ferrari.
formation lap.
But
Formation
it
lap.
wasn't his fault. The
I know it wasn't.
hydraulics went.
I know, but it was Ferrari's fault.
I know it was Ferrari's fault. It was their fault. That it should not have happened, but it did.
For those that didn't see
They
it,
were saying that it was similar to what happened to Carlos in
Yes.
Mexico.
Yeah, it was the same
And then
issue.
Charles said it wasn't. Yeah, he came out in the interviews. He's like, no, it's not the same issue, and I can't talk about it.
Oh.
Yeah, they interviewed him in the middle of the
Right.
race.
I don't see that.
Yeah,
for those that didn't see it, during the formation lap, Charles lost his hydraulics, and if your hydraulics go, your power steering goes. So he went straight into the barrier, and he was out on the formation lap.
Very sad.
It was very sad.
day.
but
Did you see all the
also-
memes where it was like Charles getting out of the car running, and then like the
Yeah.
Hobbit,
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings Hobbit, like,
going on a
an
mission?
adventure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was going on
running
a
through the
mission.
grass.
Yeah.
Well, the
Off he
fans,
goes.
the fans went nuts as well when he was out.
Yeah,
They went berserk.
poor man.
Yeah.
He was like, "Just get me back to the garage."
Yeah. Well, he did try to run back to the garage at one point to get his car when we had that red flag.
And then we had the red flag.
So-
But first,
Yeah.
for the red flag, Lando start went from
Oh, yeah.
6th to 2nd.
yes, he did.
Yeah, he had a
He
great
was
start.
straight off on the
He
inside.
did.
He did.
Such
I
a
think-
good start.
I think that was one of the best
Starts
starts
he's
we've
done.
had. Oh, I was going to say one of the best
the
starts.
starts. Yeah,
we've
yeah,
had
yeah,
all
yeah.
season.
I agree.
I love a chaotic start. I love it.
It was chaotic. Well, yeah, you definitely like Lando just shooting on up there.
Yeah,
coming
up the
into the
inside.
second position, and then they're going onto the bridge under that turn, and Alex just knocks both Husses and flies off the track, debris freaking everywhere.
I was
Kevin
worried.
Magnussen is gone.
Daniel
Yeah, it looked
Ricciardo
like-
got a.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
watch
tire.
Daniel got a
watching it-
tire.
Yeah, that was the first thing I saw. I was like watching this tire fly, and I'm like, that just landed on Daniel Ricciardo's car.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
Because the halo obviously doesn't come over their head. I was like, that could have
Imagine if I like went on his head, it would just would have like snapped his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
literally.
That was the first. Yeah, that was nuts watching that happen.
Yeah.
And then it hit Oscar's rear wing as well.
3 DNFs in corner 1.
The race had been going for about 10 seconds. Maybe?
No, not even.
Yeah, probably, not
5.
even. Not even.
5 seconds.
Well, the red flag
Red
did
flag.
cater to, fixing Daniel and Oscar's cars.
Well, it didn't really help Oscar. I don't think he got it fixed. He just...
Did they not fix it
no,
properly?
They couldn't fix it properly. That's why he was at the back. Like,
Well, at first they said, get out, turn the car off, get out.
yeah, I
Engine
heard
switch
that.
off.
But
And then they said
said
they've got a red flag, we'll try. So they must have done something because beforehand it was too unsafe for it to drive
yeah, they must have something to be able to at least keep it out.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't fixed.
No. And Daniel's car definitely wasn't doing anything.
It was a sad day to be an Aussie.
Yeah.
The amount
poor
of
Aussies
the
in the
amount
back.
of like plus laps there were, as in like Oscar Piastri had plus 2 laps, Daniel Ricciardo plus 1 lap, Nico Hülkenberg plus 1 lap, Logan Sargent plus 1 lap, Esteban Ocon plus 1 lap,
Well,
and then all the DNFs.
this sounds bad, but
What?
I kind of like that our 2 Aussies were together at the back of the grid together.
Yeah, it's
They
cute.
can hold hands and
Aussies
skip down
unite.
together.
Hey, even Daniel put it up on
cute.
his Instagram story. He wrote just a couple of Aussies in Brazil because they were just like chilling out the
Yeah.
back, just going around together. And I was like, that's kind of
At least they
nice.
were in it together.
Yeah.
And they weren't by themselves.
Yeah.
Really. Oh, well.
Like I don't know. Nice little
Yeah.
moment. But I did love watching Charles run back to his car during that red flag because I think he was hoping that they could take the car back to the garage and fix his.
Yeah.
I had a split second where I was like, maybe.
But I thought it was
Yeah.
once the engine's off, they can't do it.
Yeah, I think
So
they
how
weren't
would they
sure
get the
what
car
if
back?
he'd turned it off. I don't know.
I'm leaving the engine on.
Yeah.
His car's
Well,
like
he was
snapped in
already
half.
out of the car anyway. He was
Yeah.
halfway walking, then he just started bolting back as soon as he realised it was a red flag. So he was obviously hoping for something. I mean, the
Yeah.
crash was big enough that what was it, like 15 minutes was a red flag? A bit more?
Yeah. But I thought as well, if you got out of the car, you can't restart the race.
This is true.
Or did I make that up?
No, I think
I'm
you are
pretty sure
correct.
that's right. Once you're
You
out
are
of the car,
correct.
you
That is
can't.
why in Japan, Checo remained in his
Yeah,
car.
he sat in the car the whole time. He's like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah. But whereas when Danny went back into the garage to get his car fixed, he actually had to get out of the car and took his helmet off and everything like that. So,
Yeah.
but Oscar stayed in his. But yeah, 15 minutes of solid wait time.
Yeah.
Allowed me to get a few emails in before.
Yeah. I ordered coffee on Uber.
You ordered a coffee on Uber
that is
Eats.
so bad, Amy.
Yeah.
Amy.
Savage.
I won't do it again, I promise.
Oh my God. So
How much did your coffee cost you? At
a
least
coffee
did you get like a
$5 for a small one anyway, and then you would have had
$5? A small coffee for me is like
Mine's like $6.
$4, $5.
And
So
then
basically-
Uber Eats inflates a couple dollars on it, and then you would have had delivery. Did you pay $10 for a coffee?
Did you at least get a croissant or something to make it better? Oh God.
You could have gone and ordered Nescafe and made like 60 coffees at home.
I was having a great time. I was like, this is the bougiest coffee I've ever had.
Did it even taste any good?
Yeah, I love my
Was it
coffee.
cold when it was
No.
delivered?
No, because it's like, it's even worse. It's just around the corner.
Amy.
I'm like, I
Surely
could.
the delivery driver was like, I can't believe I'm doing
What
this.
time
like,
is this?
Oh, like 7 a.m.
Amy.
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 I won't do it again, I promise.
Judgment from this side of the room.
Judgment. At least if it was like an iced coffee or something. No.
You're like, no, absolutely
no, actually,
not.
no, there's no excuse.
It's such a bougie thing that you see on TikTok, like all these American girls being like, my coffee's just arrived. I just ordered my coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, what do you mean you
That's
just
what I
ordered your
felt
coffee?
like. I was like, oh,
I
my
would have to be
coffee's at the door.
extremely hungover where I could not move off the couch and Peter was not there to get it for me to order a coffee on Uber.
I
Eats.
was in a very, I was being a lazy bitch. That's just how it was.
Not
You could say
really.
maybe you had like
you think?
you maybe had like a 2-day hangover.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say-
I mean, I
You know
feel like
what?
I've got
I
a
do
2-day
have blisters
hangover.
all over my feet, and
I
my
just
feet are
can't
very
walk to
sore
the
right
coffee
now.
shop.
I feel like I'm in day 2 of my hangover as well, and I still have more days to go.
Yeah,
It's
thank
just
God
going to
I'm
be a
doing one more
week-long
day.
hangover at the moment. Spring racing killing us already.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, where
Back to the
were we?
race.
the restart. We had
the
a nice little
restart?
restart. I was a bit worried for little Lando.
Oh.
I was like, restarts don't normally go your
No,
way.
they did not go his
But
way.
he
Did you
did
think he was
well.
going to stick to it?
I thought he was going to cark it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, here we go. Here we go again.
Here we go.
But he held off Lewis. I was like, thank God. And he maintained the second the whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole time, yeah.
The whole time.
And then gave Max a little bit of a nudge a couple of times.
Gosh, I'm really hoping that their cars are a lot more similar next year.
I just want to know
It'd
what
be
Lando
so
would be
much
like
fun.
if Max wasn't around.
I know.
Be so good.
Especially just his second end of his season has been fantastic.
Oh, so good.
The broadcast was also saying to Lando as well, you need to be kinder to yourself. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
See that
no,
interview?
I saw
See?
that.
Because he
We
was
all-
like giving him like self shit, and they all said, "Stop! You need to
be a bit nicer.
be
to
nicer
yourself.
to
Where are those
yourself, like-
affirmations? Where are they?
But it's funny how, I mean, I think that we collectively all pick up on these things and think
Yeah.
we get it. You're obviously disappointed in some areas, but you're also still performing really well, and you're obviously
Yeah.
learning from it. Be nicer to yourself, and then
Yeah.
the fact that he's still going on the broadcast is
Yeah.
also picking up and being like, Lando, you're killing
Literally.
the game. Like this is your best second half of your season
Yeah.
ever that
He's-
you've had.
He's like still finding a way to put himself down.
Yeah.
Like no matter what happens, even if he does perform well.
Yeah.
I think it was a Sky Sports podcast with Rosberg, and he was saying how he's like, yeah, you can like, you know, not appreciate. What's the right word? What word am I looking for?
That's right. We can cut this. Let's
My
figure it out.
brain has just gone.
What
Sorry,
are you
my
looking for?
sunburn's really hot, and I'm really hot. I'm like, I
you
just
can
felt that. I was like, I feel like I'm going through menopause. Having a
what
hot
are you thinking?
flash.
Yeah. Wait.
What's he saying? Rosberg.
Rosberg was saying
Rosberg,
you can
you
appreciate,
can-
Not appreciate. No, acknowledge. That's the right word.
acknowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can acknowledge it in the like. Let me say that again. You can acknowledge it when it's happening. You can do it like say it once
Yeah.
and then move on. But he just keeps repeating it, and then the more you say it, is
The more
like,
you
comes
believe
to
it.
fruition. So
Yeah. Well, that's what they
Yeah.
say. I mean, I'm not a manifester.
manifestation.
Neither, but I feel like I should.
Oh my god, no! I swear.
No,
I-
affirmations.
No, but also that
that's
and then
manifestation,
manifestation
yeah.
as well.
Manifestations too. Yeah.
I think they're like they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Oh my god, when
true.
Really?
I used to do this thing where I'd like say like affirmations to myself before I'd fall asleep, and they just
Ah.
keep going, and like I would wake up feeling fabulous. It's
Really?
like I am fucking this bitch.
I want to do
That
that.
kind of worked.
Oh.
It was very
okay.
fun.
How many would you say?
I'd like make up a little line. I can't remember what they were.
Well,
Most of
Lando,
it-
if you're listening,
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Or like fall asleep listening to.
Get in touch with Amy.
Sometimes I fall asleep listening to like hypnosis things.
Oh. Let's
Because
I'm
then
sure
they
they
keep
do
playing
all,
and they go
like-
into like your subconscious
well,
mind.
also they all have mind coaches these days as well, and that was a big thing that they were talking
Lando
about
needs
across
to
the
change his.
broadcast.
he needs a new one.
Lando needs to hire Emma Murray.
Even the the engineers and everyone, they have mind coaches that work with them and the pit crews. But Emma Murray, who is world-renowned mind coach and psychologist, works with Oscar Piastri. She works with the McLaren team. I can't help but think, surely McLaren would be like, Emma, can you also work with that
Yeah.
if he's doing this sort of stuff?
Yeah.
Unless he's just someone that's just not into that. Then
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine
You
if
might
you're
just
not.
not be into it.
Yeah, which is fine, but he has so much of an opportunity here. Like Max is really being challenged right now by Lando. Max has a dominating car and also a dominating winning personality. Like we know he's just, even if he's winning by 20 seconds, he'll still be like complaining about the car or the wind or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just because he just takes everything so seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lando is just so close to being that, but with a bit of humor as well in there.
I think Lando definitely, once he gets on top of that side
Yeah.
of him, he will just
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
he'll skyrocket. But it's just once you get on top of that mental side, because most of it's all the mental game.
That's why I think
Yeah.
Oscar in some ways is ahead of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oscar's got that level of maturity
Mentally.
that just has that
Emotionally,
understanding.
he's ahead
Yeah.
of him.
Emotional intelligence, is that
Yeah.
what we
Emotional
would call
intelligence, definitely.
it? But look, still, Lando, he came second. He got fastest lap time.
And he wasn't far behind Max Verstappen either.
No.
Not at all.
8 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, considering
Not
like
too
the
bad.
start of the season, Max was winning by like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
30 seconds. Now it's only 8 seconds.
The gap is definitely getting closer.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually saw something. I don't know if I saw it or if I just totally like dreamt it. I feel like it's real. Do you ever have that?
Oh my
Yeah.
God. All
We
the
have a
time.
dream. And you're like, did that happen? That someone said that if there was another like 6 races or something, the gap would be like completely closed with the way it's like progressed throughout the season.
Wow.
I don't know if that's a thing or if I dreamt that.
Yeah.
So
Well, it sounds
we
like
can
it-
find out.
It sounds
We'll have a
about
look.
right. It sounds about right.
Yeah.
My favorite moment of the race, though.
Was the end?
I feel like that has to be everyone's
Oh my
favorite moment. Like that was just
What
the best.
I couldn't breathe.
battle. And this is what I was
Yeah.
trying to say earlier,
I
but
had
obviously you had to
goosebumps.
wait.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
talk
I
about
had
it.
goosebumps too.
Checo and Alonso. That battle
That final lap.
Yeah.
was so good. I feel like it's so rare seeing a good battle in the final lap lately.
They were battling most of the race as well, weren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
And then just that final lap. Oh, when Perez had him and then Alonso got DNS. DRS. Alonso got DRS.
Yep.
It was just...
It
That's-
was
no,
so
that's
good.
the race.
got DRS.
And then Alonso got
And
it
then-
back.
yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
then they were
Back,
like
yeah.
getting DRS. I feel like those DRS spots are a bit weird.
Yeah.
Because I think Daniel actually said something about
Yeah.
that this weekend too.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been a Red Bull sandwich.
There was
That'd be great.
There was a 1/10 of a second between them.
All the photos that came out
Oh my God,
were
it's so
fantastic.
cool.
There were so many funny memes that also came back out. I think there was like someone put up a episode of a movie. What's that movie? Cars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
the
Lightning
tongue,
McQueen.
the tongue going out,
Yeah.
being like, "I'm there."
Yeah. But it just shows how good Alonso still is and like
Yeah.
just the knowledge of the car and the race and the tracks and just he's just too good. I think
sorry, you go.
I reckon if he was in a dominating car, he'd still probably dominate.
I think so.
How
Yeah.
good was the humility, whatever you want to call it, of Lando Norris? Just me and 2 world champions.
Yeah, oh my God, that was so funny.
That's also another thing.
Oh
Putting
my
yourself
gosh.
down. Dude, you
Yeah.
could also be a world champion one
Yeah.
day. Like, chill out.
Yeah.
I was going to say there was another record broken by Alonso. Most podiums at a single track without winning. Shared with Kimi Räikkönen.
Oh.
Savage.
But
Well,
at least after
But I'm so proud of him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perez is P4. He's now 32 points clear of Lewis
Yeah.
in the Drivers' Championship.
He is. Sad.
So yeah, he can get it next round in Vegas.
He could.
If he doesn't fuck it up.
I can't believe we're so close to
Oh, yeah.
Vegas,
I know.
especially after a quarter of the grid was out on that race.
Mm.
And just for anyone that doesn't know
Double.
that quarter for all those DNFs.
Double DNF for Alpha.
Yeah,
I was like,
we've
Oh,
got
that was tragic.
Alex Albon, Kevin Magnussen, Charles Leclerc, Joe Guanyu, Valtteri Bottas, and George Russell. It just kept happening.
Yeah.
And then that's why
That's
we
a lot.
saw Oscar and Danny right at the back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Is it 17 wins for Max now?
Yep.
Yep.
6 runner-up for Lando. And Fernando back on the podium.
Nice.
I was like, kind of like that.
yeah,
It was a good podium.
was. Always good to see
Yeah.
the spike. No trophies were broken.
Yeah.
And no trophy was being
goodness.
harmed in the making of this episode.
Woohoo. And then Hamilton's P8 for Mercedes was his worst Interlagos finish in the hybrid era. That Mercedes was just shocking.
I don't know if you saw Toto Wolff's post-race interview.
Oh,
Sorry, first they interviewed Lewis and he was like, he's just so positive. He's like, I can't wait to get rid of this car. Can't wait for next season. And he was super positive. Like,
I wouldn't know if it's positive.
Well,
he speaks well without making it sound negative.
Yeah, he's not dramatic, but he sounds so chipper. And then they like cut to Toto. He's like, inexcusable performance,
Yeah.
horrible, no words. It's like,
Okay, Toto.
okay, Toto,
Gorgeous. Thank you, Toto.
you do that.
Oh god. Well, yeah, Lewis is definitely just ready to get rid of this car. He wants it gone.
Lewis in his car, Charles in his car.
Also, do you know who was a really rude
That one
again in post-race interviews?
Stroll?
Stroll.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
The one I
Again?
saw,
What
he
did
was
do?
okay.
Well, they were like, no, when they were like, oh, good day for the team. What are your thoughts? And he was like, yeah, I mean, and then he just started speaking about himself. As in, like, rightfully you speak about yourself, but surely you can be like, yeah, really, usually you'll see the other
He's
drivers
pissed off
be like,
because he started third and
Yeah,
Alonso got it.
that's his fault.
Mm.
Yeah, he's pissed off. But, like, surely you can be like, great. Also, they're media trained. Usually they would say, great to see the team, like, get some points, like, blah, blah, blah. And then
Yeah.
you can speak about yourself. He's just like, and just went quiet. Like,
I feel like it's kind of like what we were saying before. They're just done with the season.
done.
I'm really getting
Done.
that energy from a lot of them.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be done too.
Yeah.
I'd be exhausted.
Except for Max. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like a,
Always ready
like a
to
golden
go.
retriever.
Well, I wonder if Toto was also just pissed off because Red Bull are now tie with max wins in a season with Mercedes as well.
Probably.
Mm.
So
wouldn't
in
surprise me.
Mercedes, in 2016, not in Mercedes. In 2016, Mercedes had 19 wins in a single season.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
And
now
Red Bull also broke their most laps led in a season.
Yeah.
1,055.
it's all happening.
Yeah.
It's
a
all
lot.
happening.
Oh, do you remember how I was saying Lando Norris is almost on ties for the most podiums without winning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's now
On
tying for most podiums without a win.
At least he's winning
With
something.
Nick Heidfeld. Most podiums without winning a race.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Yeah. I imagine if
day.
he wins Vegas, I'd actually love to watch Lando win Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you
kind of
reckon he
sad
would?
it's not this weekend.
I know. I can't believe we've got another week.
I know. But I'm also kind of excited to just have a chill weekend and not have to worry about a race.
I know.
Maybe.
Personally.
Just a bit of resting.
Get the news going.
Yeah. See what happens.
Well, I think we've chewed everyone's ears off
I think so.
long enough. Thoughts, feels?
I think
Regrets?
so.
I think so.
Well, if you've enjoyed this episode.
Didn't you have a finisher for us?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Amy responded to these stories and was like, what the fuck? That was not such
I
an,
was
oh
like,
my God.
bro.
That was not what?
No.
Amy just saw my.
I just saw the thing where she put the stories up and I was like, all I said, I was like, bro. Oh dear God.
So welcome to Elle's Bullshit Corner. Where I ask you the hard questions.
As
So
in us?
scared.
You're asking us the hard questions?
I mean, you can answer them if you want, but I actually
Oh.
put these out to our followers
Oh, yeah.
and listeners.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time again for
Top
Elle Goes
3
Rogue.
each.
Top 3?
Top 3.
Only 3?
Oh, how many are there?
I did 2 questions and there's a few responses.
Oh gosh.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be quick though. All right.
Okay.
The first question is, if Max Verstappen was a sandwich, what would he be?
There would definitely be no sauce. As in, like, no, like, sauce. Like, no, like,
See, they're
no.
good. They make you
Yeah.
They make you laugh.
As in, like, no condiments or anything.
I
It'd
reckon
be
he'd
dry.
be like a dry ham and cheese toasty.
Well,
no,
hang on. We've got
yeah.
something like that. So this is my favorite answer.
I'm
for
imagining, like, like a pumpernickel bread with
pumpernickel.
something like
What?
like salmon,
Sourdough?
because you like salmon, like literally just like a salmon and like a dry cheese.
No cream cheese.
Yeah, no cream cheese.
I love cream cheese.
Yeah.
All right. So if Max Verstappen was a sandwich, what would he be? Figgy, she has responded saying an avocado BLT. You don't know if you love it or hate it.
That's good.
Fair point.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Then we have okay. Amy. We have a Dutch pancake. Is that
What's
a
a Dutch
sandwich?
pancake?
I think it's just a pancake. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
like those little ones, the profiteroles.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're just little ones.
So that's not a sandwich.
That's not him.
Didn't we call them like pikelets?
We have a Vesterboy.
What?
Verstubway? A
Oh.
Verstubway footlong with local Dutch ingredients. Is that like a Subway?
Oh, no, wait, show me.
Verstubway?
Maybe it
Oh.
was supposed to just
Do they
I think
mean
it's
like
just
a Vesta, like a sausage, but then it's
With local Dutch
with
ingredients?
Subway?
I don't know.
It
Chris,
could
you might have
be.
to explain that to us. And the last one was jam, plain and simple.
Jam.
So jam
I
without
reckon
butter.
that
That would
jam
be-
can hit the spot sometimes.
Yeah, I reckon
Without
that would be
butter, though?
more of like an Oscar Piastri.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Oscar would be a jam sandwich.
Yeah.
Ah.
I think Oscar would be.
so you are liking these questions, Amy.
they're
Yeah.
funny.
Wait, was there another one?
Yes. So the second question I asked, I only did 2 because I didn't want to Bombard everyone. I was having too much fun.
It's like, hey guys.
So the question is, if Charles wasn't in F1, what would he be doing?
Oh, musician.
Funny answers only.
So musician doesn't count.
Oh.
No.
Ninja.
Ninja. Parkour.
You can he be doing parkour? Or?
No.
Because you know, have you seen he always wears the headbands and his hair puffs up?
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like-
Yep, I can say that.
true,
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
I reckon a gymnast.
Gymnast. That's good.
The little tights with his like little headband.
Yeah. Yeah.
all right.
I
Well,
reckon he'd do the vault. He'd be a
Oh,
vaulter.
yeah.
a vaulter.
The vault.
Well, Rachel has said he'd be a clown.
Oh.
Then we have Disney World actor. Does that mean you like work at
Oh my
Disney
god,
World?
that's hilarious. He's like,
Like when you get in the suits.
Someone,
it's me, Mickey Mouse.
someone actually wrote recording artist, so, but
Oh,
that's
yeah,
not funny.
there we
But that's
go,
what you
yeah.
said
Yes.
before. And then these are my two favorite ones: living a life without pain.
Yeah.
They're not wrong. Who wrote that?
Ferrari's aging him.
And then
there's no
OnlyFans.
tomorrow.
OnlyFans.
You'd be on OnlyFans selling some sort of thing, which I'm sure there'd be many
Do you
people
reckon
out there
he'd
that
sell
would love
like feet pigs?
Oh,
Oh, probably.
I don't mind those questions.
yeah, they were good.
All right, well, I'm glad
Good
you like
answers.
them. We'll be back next
Yeah.
week for Elle's Rogue
I-
segments.
I've also got something because I was thinking about this the other day. For all our listeners, and because we're coming like almost to the end of our first season of Paddock 43, I was like, would you guys prefer if we cut up our segments? So if we had, instead of having one big episode on a Tuesday night, if we do like a post-race and news as one, and then do a pre-race separate and release that on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Or even if we do them all separately, like have
Yeah.
a separate news, separate race, separate pre-race.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Let us
But
know.
let us know.
Yeah,
Let us
maybe we
know.
should do a poll.
You
Yeah.
can, write in on the Instagram.
See
Your-
what the people want.
Leave I think you can also leave reviews on Spotify. We can actually
you?
we
Yeah.
can ask a question and people can vote and leave
Oh,
reviews
okay,
on
yeah.
Spotify.
Yeah.
So
Let's
we
do
might
that.
leave that
We'll ask
there
a
and then
question.
Yeah.
you guys can let
Yep.
us know. And if you're not listening on Spotify, you can message us on Instagram.
We'll do it on TikTok as well.
But if you are
All the
on
platforms.
Apple or whatever, leave us a review.
Yes.
We want to
Please
hear how much you
do.
love us.
Yes, please. But that's all we've got time for. No race this weekend. We will be New Year's next week. This week.
What?
Next week.
It'll be New Year's.
New Year's.
We'll be in your ears.
Oh, I thought you said New Year's. I was like, what?
We'll be in your
Wrong, yeah.
ears
In your ears.
next week. And we'll be very excited.
Very
Very excited because we're
good.
talking about
Oh my God, I have a girlfriend that's going. And I was like,
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
All right,
she's
we
like,
need to talk about that one.
she was like, I'll FaceTime you while I'm there. I'm like, please,
Yes, please.
do.
Please,
And do not get off the phone.
Please.
All right.
Anyway,
We'll speak to you later.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
That's
We all did
another, another historic one. See if you recognize this.
Very nice. I'm not a good singer. I like to listen to it. Oh, oh. Let's go. The old house is still standing. The paint is cracked and dry.
Well done, mate. Radio Rebel.